Before we get off 11-13, Cedrick, I got to ask you, of course, about the South Carolina-Clemson rivalry. I'm sure that, being from the state of Georgia, Lithonia, Georgia, maybe you weren't quite as familiar with it, but if you literally Google your name, there are plenty of pictures of you flashing the 5 after the game's over, and all you guys, it was incredible. You talk about that rivalry, kind of when you learned just how big of a deal it was, and being a part of that. I mean, you got the last 3 of the 5-game win streak. And like you said, being a South Carolina football player during that time when you're winning is great, but especially when you're beating Clemson, that's the icing on the cake, man. You guys obviously dominated them for your first 3 years there.
Yeah, it was, oh my gosh, man. I had Gary Peters, that was on the Clemson football team. He and I grew up together. And he and I was always competitive. And I went on 2 visits. I went on Clemson offered me. I went on a Clemson visit, and I went on a South Carolina visit. When I went to Clemson, Gary was like, "Oh, come on, man. You already know you need to come here." I was just like, no, I just didn't feel it. I just didn't feel it. It was a little bit too much orange for me. I was just like, nah, this is not the vibe I really like. But beating them was the absolute best. I mean, I can't tell you. And it was crazy because you develop this hate for them. Even today, when I see people that are Clemson supporters, I'm just like, I don't know about you. And it's all fun and games, but at the same time, it's like that rivalry got so serious. There was so many times as we were playing, I was about to fight people. I'm getting in people's faces. And in my head, I'm just like, gosh, like this game is just so intense. That was, I would say the Clemson games are the ones that got the most rowdiest. The Clemson games and the UGA games were the ones that got the most rowdiest.
Yeah. I was going to say probably got pretty personal for you because it was 2011, I remember correctly. Taj Boyd, when he sent the tweet out that the South Carolina defensive line was average. That's when Twitter was just kind of really getting going. And he tried to say, he didn't say, it's like, receipts don't lie, Taj. Receipts don't lie.
Right,
and,
exactly.
Yeah, Melvin and JD and the boys did not take very kindly to it. We'll put it that way.
They were going crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my gosh. And just seeing it, it's different. It's different watching it in the stands. Being on the field is like, oh my gosh. Because those hits, people don't realize, those hits were so hard. My body kills every single morning when I wake up. If I don't work out, my body will fall apart.
Right.
And those hits were just so serious. But that rivalry, man, I mean, you can't, honestly, I think it's one of the best rivalries in the SEC.